What up, everybody?
What's up?
Soccer podcast. We got this on lock, baby. Sheen Quigani coming at you. Kill the clock. Soccer pod with Anhad Singh. What's up, man? How you doing?
What's up? What's up, dude? Just good, just good. Excited, excited. El Clasico coming up in less than 12 hours.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna be going to Buffalo Wild Wings to watch that.
It's gonna be wild.
um, so I mean, we got that on the horizon. We also got some great EPL matchups. But first, I think we should talk about the Champions League and just recap some of the stuff we saw. We saw a lot of routes. We saw a lot of high-scoring affairs, but albeit one-sided, and a couple thrillers. So, what do you want to talk about first?
Let's talk about the surprise results. I think City and Moscow, the 2-2 draw was quite surprising to me. Um, what else was a surprise result? I think Bayern Munich and Roma, although that was 7-1 Bayern Munich, I think that was a bit of a surprise to me. I expected Bayern to win, but Roma's a quality side, and that was just not expected. What else? Monaco and Benfica. I think a lot of people thought Benfica would be the clear favorites, but it was a 0-0 draw. Um, Olympiacos beats Juventus 1-0. I think that has to go down as a surprise.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, I think everything. How about Bayer Leverkusen and Zenit? I think you and we were talking about it. I think we had Bayern as favorites, or was it like a close draw?
No, because the game wasn't in Russia, I think we both had
Yeah.
Leverkusen winning. Yeah.
Uh, Actually, FC Basel, I totally forgot about them. They lost.
Right, to Ludogorets. So, I mean,
Yeah.
Basel just seemed to do well against, they're the English killers, but against sides that they should beat, I suppose,
Yeah.
they struggle.
Yeah.
They play up to their competition and then play down, I suppose. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, I've watched a couple of these games. You mentioned the Olympiacos game. Shout out to their keeper for
Oh.
keeping a clean sheet. Oh my gosh, he did a phenomenal job because
Yeah.
Juventus were battering that end endlessly, and the keeper came out with, I mean, terrible defending, by the way, by Olympiacos, but this guy was so clutch and made any number of like 4 or 5 huge saves to keep the clean sheet and get all 3 points. So what a huge effort to them. They're now top of their group at 6 points. So
Yeah.
tied. Dortmund, Marco Reus, dude, with that goal, that was so
My
sick.
God. That was just crazy.
He didn't seem to strike it really hard, but it just
Hmm.
kind of swerved and it just went exactly where it had to go. It was just such quality.
Yep.
And I think Atletico Madrid got the job done against Malmo. They look good. I mean, and you mentioned Bayern Munich. I think we all talked about Roma being like a dark horse or maybe like a really good side at the beginning of the season.
Hmm.
And for Bayern to go in there and, I mean, I watched the first half of that game. Oh my gosh, it was such a beautiful display of attacking football. It was just such incisive, cutthroat, ruthless passing, and it was 5-0 at halftime, I think. And I was just like, oh my god, like, like that. To me, that makes them the favorites after a performance like that in the Champions League. And I said it at the beginning, I thought Bayern was going to win. But I mean, I feel good about that prediction now because they beat it. Roma is not a scrub.
Yeah.
Roma is a very good team, and they were only able to get the Germinho goal. But I mean, Bayern were able to do whatever they wanted against them. It started with the amazing shot by Robin in the ninth minute on Ashley Cole, mind you, who you would figure would know that he's trying to cut on his left more than anyone else. But anyways, yeah, just a outstanding attacking display. Pep was. I mean, I don't even know. When I was watching the game, I was like, what is he playing? What formation is he doing? The guy is crazy. Chelsea Chelsea got the job done against Maribor, but whatever. Schalke 4-3 against Sporting CP. That was the most thrilling game. It came down to the wire, and Roberto Di Matteo got a win, and he already looks like he's fitting in really well. He's like hugging everyone, and everyone seems to like him. So obviously I have a soft spot for him because Chelsea won the Champions League with him. So I wish the best of luck to him. Barcelona got the job done against Ajax. Um,
You know,
I think we all expected Liverpool to lose, but Real Madrid pretty much swagged on them pretty hard.
yeah, that's the one game that I saw. I think I saw almost the entire game. And honestly, the score line does not reflect what actually happened in
No,
that game.
no, yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
I think Real Madrid were saving themselves for the Classico.
Right.
Sometime after the first half, they just lost interest. It seemed like they were just jogging around,
They're
keeping
cruising.
possession. It was a mockery, to be honest, and it could have very well been 6-0 if they tried.
Right.
Yeah.
I wanna give one quick word to Moscow and City.
Mhm.
That game, they were up by two, and City were looking clinical after the first couple goals, and it looked like they had this in the bag.
Mhm.
And they Moscow gets a really good goal, and then they get a penalty, and that penalty that absolutely was not a penalty. So I think it needs to be said that City got screwed, but their misery in the Champions League continues.
Yeah.
We talk about this every year. I know they get pretty tough groups. I mean, recently they've been in a group with Bayern for the last two seasons, this season and last season. But I mean, this team just cannot get off the schneid, and
Yeah.
it's just they can't get any breaks. It's tough to see, and if they don't make it through this group, I'm actually worried because that's just one less huge I mean, it's the biggest competition, and they're not going to be in it, and that way they're going to pool all their immense resources and incredible squad depth into the Premier League. Oh, great! And Chelsea are going to have a rough time of it if we have to keep dealing with, the Champions League and all these other competitions, and City don't have to. I mean, it looks like that could be a possibility. There are 3 games left, but Bayern look good, and Roma could snake out of the group there. So um,
I
they
don't
got
want to.
screwed over though. I'm just going to say that they
Yeah.
definitely deserve that game, and that was not a penalty, and I do feel bad for them, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. I'm definitely not gonna write them off because they have enough quality to come out of this group, but 3 games gone, they only have 2 points, and Roma have 4 points, so it's not like they have a tremendous lead over them, but it's not looking good. That's all what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's uphill battle, but yeah, absolutely. They have the squad to do it, so we'll see. They have some work to do. So let's take a look towards these weekend's games, and do you want to start with the EPL?
Yeah, so the biggest game is obviously on Sunday, Manchester United versus Chelsea. Um, I think, we could just start off by talking about this game. Chelsea are coming into this game with some superb form. They've got the top of the table, one of the best starts. Oh, sorry, the best start that Mourinho's had in English Premier League. Um, and you would expect them to certainly win this game. However, they're without Diego Costa and Loic Remy, and so that begs the question: what is Mourinho going to do? Um, there are two things that we've seen in the past. Cesc Fabregas has played false nine, and Schürrle's played, I think, as false nine or up front. So you could have either of those things. Now, it's going to come down to organization of the team and how Manchester United look. Like, I'm not certainly going to write them off, but it's going to be a close game. Uh, Manchester United have to keep their defensive formation intact. They just can't be allowing Chelsea to have Chelsea forwards or whoever's puts Chelsea put up ahead go one-on-one with their defenders. Says Fabregas, you can't give him any room to send in those through balls. Um, I honestly don't know what to expect from this game. I always have a pretty good idea of what's gonna happen, but this is one game which could go either way. It just depends on what formations both the teams go out with.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of United against West Brom last week, and I gotta tell you, if West Brom look that good against United, I think they're gonna be in trouble. Berahino was their best player, and he looked like a constant threat, and he caught Rafael out on a couple occasions on one of their goals, and the fullbacks were caught out a little bit, Luke Shaw and Rafael a couple times, so. That is not going to work against Eden Hazard, and
Yeah, it's not.
with the form that he's coming in with, he's going to be biting at your heels the
Mhm.
entire game. And the way he looked against Maribor, I know it was Maribor, but he really should have had 4 goals, open,
Yeah.
goals. So he was just messing around out there, and he looks really sharp. And if he's in the mood, you guys could be in for a long day. But again, because we're missing all of our strikers, because Drogba might be out too.
Yeah.
Um, this really changes things. I wouldn't be surprised if Mourinho goes in there and just tries to set up shop and go for a draw. It wouldn't surprise me at all because I haven't seen Cesc play a false nine role with us. I would be very surprised if he does that. I
Yeah.
have seen Schürrle play as the emergency striker again,
Mhm.
and the last time we saw was ironically against uh, United last year against Moyes' United, and that was a 0-0 draw. So I don't know if we'll see that again, but I mean, one of these strikers, Drogba or Costa, actually could be available. And Mourinho said today, well, I mean, in England, I mean, hours and hours ago, um, he said that Costa has a small chance of making it. And
Yeah.
the last time, the last time that was said, he ended up getting a hat trick. So I'm crossing my fingers. I know you're a United fan, and you have to be feeling good. You have to be feeling good,
Yeah.
thinking, "Hey, we're not gonna go up against Diego Costa. He's been lighting the world on fire right now. He's not playing. If he is playing, I expect us to win. If
Yeah.
he's not playing. I I expect a draw, and I would be very happy with the win, like a 1-0 win or something like that.
Yeah, for our fans, though, as objective as we are, at the end of the day, I'm a United fan, Shaheen's a Chelsea fan, so sometimes we say things we don't mean, and but I'll be upfront about it. Chelsea are based on their form and everything that we've seen so far. Yes, they are the favorites. I'll admit to that, but I'm not going to dismiss the fact that we have a lot of quality. A couple of the results that we haven't gotten in the last few games, I I would blame some key players. One of the persons I'm going to blame is Robin van Persie. Now, tomorrow on Sunday, I'm hoping that Louis van Gaal starts Falcao over Van Persie. I'm also expecting, because we might need a strong midfield presence. Carrick played his under 21 game today. That sounds weird, but yes, he did play like 60 minutes, over 60 minutes in a United under 21 game, so he might be back. Herrera is possibly fit. Fellaini could play in the midfield, so that's some good midfield presence. You might see a good 4-2-3-1 formation by United. We don't know what it's gonna be, so I'm hopeful. That's what I'm gonna say, and I don't think I'm gonna come out with a prediction for this game, but it's gonna be a good game.
It's going to be a great game.
Yeah.
I don't know. Should you temper your expectations? Because last week you said you'd smash West Brom 4-1 or something. Should you temper your expectations a little bit? This is Chelsea. Come on, man. All right.
Hey, as I said, I'm not making a prediction. I'm
All
just going
right.
to.
I like it. Okay. I'm gonna go with 1-0, but if Costa plays, I think it could be 2-0. Um, I think our defensive organization has been so good. Aspilicueta is on a red card, so
Yeah.
Felipe Luis has to check Angel Di Maria, I
Yeah,
think. And that is going to be a matchup to watch. And I don't think Felipe Luis has come across a player yet in because he's mostly played Champions League games. I think that's what Mourinho he got Azpilicueta to shut down everyone in the Premier League and Felipe Luis to play some Champions League and some other games on the side. But Felipe Luis is a great fullback, but this will be his toughest test to come. Angel Di Maria is so dynamic going forward. He brings everything that United fans want to see.
yeah,
Basically, uh, nothing like Mata, who is slow and kind of tries to build up possession with like intelligent passes. Di Maria comes at you 100% and does really cool stuff, man, all the
yeah,
time. like
yeah,
he volleys in crosses, and he's absolutely an elite player. I would argue he's the best player in the Premier League. He's to me he is what is making United right now a top four squad. If you take him out of squad, I don't believe United are top four. I really believe that. With all the
yeah,
other quality they have, I think Di Maria actually puts them in that discussion and makes them. They're a dark horse to win the title, but that would have to obviously start with a win against Chelsea. And Louis Van Gaal and Jose Mourinho, obviously, they're friends. They work
mhm,
together. Louis Van Gaal was the Barcelona manager like a decade ago, and Mourinho was starting out there.
mhm,
And they're very good friends. They have a lot of mutual respect for each other. The only time they faced each other was a Champions League final where Van Gaal's Bayern Munich side lost to Jose's Inter Milan side 2-0.
mhm.
So this is going to be the second time they face each other. I think it's going to be a fantastic tactical match. I cannot wait for this game.
Yeah,
And I mean, we both like football, and
yeah,
this is football.
yeah,
So this is going to be a great game before those games start.
yeah,
It's just, I'm so psyched. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, what other EPL games are you looking forward to?
One game that I'm really looking forward to is Newcastle Tottenham. Now, a couple of reasons. We expected Spurs to perform better against City, because there's this thing that they have that as good as they may or may not look, they usually get thrashed by the better competition. And we were not hoping them to lose 4-1, but yet they did. And, it was a lot of penalties. I think one of the highest number of penalties in a Premier League game. I don't have the exact statistic, but it was very high. Um, the thing is, we did not expect Spurs to lose that way. On the contrary, Alan Pardew's job at Newcastle is up for it's in the air. He could be fired any moment, any time. Uh, Against Leicester, it was important that Newcastle get a result, and they did get a 1-0 result. Now, this game is important for both the clubs. It's a must-win for both the clubs, and that's one game I'm really looking forward to. Uh, I'm actually fairly impressed with what Tottenham have done so far. I think Pochettino is a great coach. Their counterattack looks lethal, and I would expect them to win this game. And yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I expect them to win, but I at the same time, I think this result could change Pardew's outlook with the club. In that if he gets thrashed here
Yeah,
really badly, like historically badly or something like that, like more than four goals or something, they might be like, okay, it's time to go. But if they get a modest result, if they get if they lose 2-0, I think that you could keep them going. Because it is a good side, and your team is struggling, and it takes time. They have suffered a lot of bad losses and results so far in the Premier League, but I think the best thing they could hope for is a draw, and I think that would be a massive coup for them. Um,
I don't know. I think a win against Tottenham would do wonders for Purdue. And,
oh
and
yeah, no,
before,
I'm
yeah,
absolutely. Ideally, that would be the case, but I just don't see it happening.
yeah, it's hard, but the thing with Tottenham is they haven't looked good defensively. And when you see how good Cisse is and his value to this side, he could trouble them. Now, not saying that Newcastle's defense look any good, and that's my problem. That's why I can't choose Newcastle winning this game is because their defense is just not there yet. And before we move ahead, we have to give a huge shout out to Lamela for that amazing European league goal.
Oh my gosh, the
Yeah,
Rabona from outside the box.
yeah, yeah,
That was one of the best goals of the season.
yeah,
That was just outstanding. First time I saw that actually was on ESPN. It was number one on the top 10. They don't normally show a lot of soccer highlights,
yeah,
but they had to give that to this one.
yeah,
How can you not? That was such a sick goal. I
yeah,
always thought Eric Lamela was going to be a sick player, and he's showing up now. He needs to press a little more for my liking, but he's doing good.
yeah. Um, Other games. Let's see. Southampton and Stoke City. I'm just gonna talk about this game because I don't like Mark Hughes. I think he's not a good manager, and whenever I get a chance, I say something
No,
against him.
tell us how you really feel. Wow.
I just think Stoke City are gonna lose because
Oh,
Mark
for
Hughes is
sure.
their manager, and Southampton are on a roll. Amazing story, one of the worst summers, and still they come out strong, putting in good performances. They thrashed Sunderland 8-0 last weekend, and just because they're playing Mark Hughes, they're gonna get another big win.
I like it.
I
I,
there's his sides are so stagnant. There's nothing exciting about them. I just don't get it, man. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
I want to give a shout out to Ronald Koeman and the two signings that he made. Graziano Pelle, the big Italian striker that scored a lot of goals for them so far, and Dusan Tadic. Oh my gosh, dude! This dude is lighting the Premier League on fire right now. He had four assists, sorry, and one goal in the destruction of Sunderland. And I mean, it's not just that performance. He's been putting in quality performances, and he seems to have a good rapport with Pele. He's finding him everywhere. Um, so this is a team that's actually really impressive to me right now, and I want to see them keep this up because this is actually a really fun team to watch. And I mean, they're outperforming Liverpool when they sold them like what six of their players. So it's just so impressive what they've been able to do. And you know, there's something to be said about bringing in two or three guys that make the team better when you know you lost so many guys, and these guys have come in seamlessly. It's just unbelievable that Ronald Koeman deserves all the credit, and I think he should be Premier League Manager of the Month or whatever. If he wasn't, I don't know who it was last month, but he should be at this month. I mean, this guy's doing a great job. Go figure, a German does a good job. They're just so good at everything. um, yeah, I expect them to win here. What do you think about any of these other games? I mean, Arsenal look like they should get a result against Sunderland.
Well, first of all, I like to just say that Ronald Koeman actually did win the Premier League Manager of the Month, so you're
Oh, good.
good.
Oh,
You're
good.
good.
All right. See, there we go. Now,
Yeah.
now all we need is for Dusan Tadic to win Premier League Player of the Year. I'm just kidding, but he is a stud, man. I'm telling you right now.
Um, yeah, yeah. It's a great story. They deserve this, man. They lost so much over the summer. We've talked about this so many times, and yet to bounce back with such performances, such results, it's amazing.
I also want to point out one thing that I think if they were going to have a mass exodus, it's a good thing that they actually left Schneiderlin on the team
Yeah,
because he's probably their best player and he's very important to that squad.
yeah.
Um, he's really the glue that puts everything together. He's an excellent player. I would hate to see him actually leave and go to Arsenal. We actually need that kind of player right now.
Yeah.
And they've been linked to him for a while. I want him to stay there because he's really holding them together. And right now, I mean, they're better than Arsenal. So no, I,
Well,
I mean they're better than a lot of teams. I mean, look at the results. But again, they haven't really faced a good team yet, and obviously it's really early, so we have to temper our expectations. But I really like what they're doing, and I hope Schneiderlin stays, and I hope that they keep this thing rolling.
yeah. Speaking of Arsenal, they're playing Sunderland, who, as we mentioned, got thrashed last week. But Arsenal themselves could only manage a draw against Hull City. It was a 2-2 game in which Arsenal could have very well lost, and it was Danny Welbeck who just got an equalizer in the dying minutes of the game. Uh,
That's
Arsenal
like
did,
that's like so many of their draws this season.
yeah, and it's not that like they didn't have the chances. Like I think they had 70% possession. They had, I think, 7 shots on target on goal. They had like 10 corners, so they were in the game. But again, they just they just couldn't pull it through. Alexis Sanchez was probably the best player, and had it not been for Sanchez, I think Arsenal would not be where they are right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's been
Yeah,
their best player this year. An excellent signing, but they really have some defensive issues that they need to
they
sort out.
do.
We always talk about them needing a defensive midfielder, but I mean they have issues in the back four too. And I think the second goal that they scored, Per Mertesacker was just lead-footed, didn't know what to do. He just let the guy flash in front of him and get a brilliant header. You gotta have more awareness than that. Head that ball out of there. It's a dangerous ball. You're a big German dude. Get it out of there. I just see so many of these issues with Arsenal, and then they end up rescuing a point in the dying minutes of a game. This is not the first time this season. So
Yeah,
I think a result here and against this team, I think a win here would do them a world of good. Just a win. They haven't won that many games. They only won two, so they need to get a win to get them going again. This is one of the worst starts that Wenger has ever had with Arsenal because they just
yeah.
keep getting so many draws. So this is the finally the week that I think they're going to start getting together and get it going.
Yeah, I hope so because they've got 11 points from 8 games, but you're right. They're playing Sunderland, then they're playing Burnley, then they play Swansea City, and then on November 22nd they're playing United. And after that, again, they're playing West Ham, Southampton. So they have a slightly like a phase of about 3 weeks in which there are fixtures which do favor them, and you expect them to win.
Yeah.
But my problem is, what if they don't get one of those results? What happens to the confidence? Arsenal fans are always outspoken. They're not afraid to, put out their views online, on public forums. Wenger's got so
Well,
much
they
criticism.
don't care about that. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm sure
yeah,
Arsene doesn't go
yeah.
go 70-year-old Arsene Wenger doesn't go on online and be like, "What are people saying about me?" Uh,
All I'm saying is like the formation 4-5-1 is I think what they've been playing, or at least what they played last game, and it's not working. You gotta do something. You gotta switch things up, and there has to be some sort of a change, right? It's clearly not working. 11 points from 8 games is not good.
I
It's
think I
as
think
simple as that.
Sure. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think the January transfer window will help them out. Arsene said that he did need one more player in the squad. I hope that we all I think we know which kind of position he's talking about. But just that guy who could cover the back four. If he gets that player, then they look good for the season. But again, that's January. That's 2 months from now. They got to survive until then. And again, you mentioned it. They have a pretty nice, relatively nice fixture list coming up. I think they'll get it started against Sunderland. I'm pretty sure. If they don't, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
They're in big trouble. So Liverpool, I think I don't know. What do you think about Liverpool? I'm not even going to talk
Yeah.
about City because I expect Sergio Aguero to score 18 goals against them.
Yeah, yeah. I think City fans should be fairly relaxed. Nothing. I mean, no disrespect to West Ham, but they should get the job done with the amount of quality they have in the squad. Although I'm gonna say one thing, teams who do play in Europe, you need a little bit more depth. But City are fine. West Ham will be slightly more fresh than them, but you do expect City to get the job done. Coming back to Liverpool, Hull City have been exciting. I don't know. Uh, I want to say Liverpool's going to win this, but then again, Liverpool have had their own problems. I'm not going to use Real Madrid game as an example because it's Real Madrid. I'm not going to compare Real Madrid to Hull City. Again, no disrespect to Hull City, but they looked so clueless against Real Madrid. If you are a quality side, no matter how good your opponents are, you don't look clueless. And Mario Balotelli is a big gamble that they took, and it's not paying off. And Brendan Rodgers has said that they knew it was a gamble. They knew what to expect, and it's just clearly not worked. So I don't know. what he means when he says that. Like, are they going to ship him out during the January transfer window, or what's going to happen? I'm not going to, guess anything there. All I know is Sturridge is injured and they're missing him. They've definitely not been able to replace Suarez. The biggest shining bright light in their squad has been Raheem Sterling, who they would want not to shine too much that that other teams come and get him because
Like Real Madrid?
it's it's in the electronic Twitter space already. It's out there, and there's a chance that he might not be there for a long time. But that's a different discussion. We're not going to get into it. The side does not look like the same side that played last year, and we've talked about this before. Um, is it fair to compare this Liverpool team with last year's team, or was last year just an outlier? And so people or Liverpool fans who have so many high expectations because of last year, you have to take a reality check and understand that right now this does not look like a top four team.
Yeah, I agree. I think that team was entirely the product of Luis Suarez's brilliance, and I don't think you made a point in talking to you last week that they were never that good, that high of quality as a whole, anyways, and it was really the product of two players playing outstanding football. They really need Sturridge back, and I've heard a rumor, and this is just a rumor, right? That because of the investment in Balotelli not panning out, that they're going to sell him in the January transfer window and get Gonzalo Higuain. Now, if they pull that off, that would be an excellent bit of business. I know you cut bait, and in a recent example, actually, I'm going to go to the NFL. You cut bait with Percy Harvin, and you just ship him out to another team who needs him, right? I think you could if Mario Balotelli is not getting the job done, just get him out of there. And if you can get Gonzalo Higuain, oh my gosh, you're looking better. He is a fantastic striker, and there's no doubt in my mind he would get the job done. That being said, they would have to get all that paperwork sorted out and get Gonzalo to actually say yes to this kind of team.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure it would happen. Again, it's a rumor, but if they do pull that off, they look good for the foreseeable future. Also, if with the added acquisition of getting maybe someone to cover the back four, again, a problem like Arsenal, they need a little more steel. Stevie G is not that kind of player anymore, and he's getting overrun in midfield, and that's a lot. When you're leaving your center backs on islands, it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
And Dan Leveren, he's a great player, but he's getting left on islands all the time, and it's just not good when the opposition is running full speed at you the entire match. I don't care who you are. It's just not a good idea. They're getting overrun in midfield, and it's not a recipe for success. So they're in trouble too. I mean, they're these big teams that we would expect to be good. I think they really need to figure something out until January, and then in January they need to do a little bit of business. Let's look ahead to the last portion of this segment, and it's going to be looking forward to El Clasico. You mentioned it being in about 12 hours.
Yep.
Or no, like 9 hours. Or yeah, whatever. Oh my gosh, dude!
No.
I'm really excited about this game.
Why don't we just
where do we
this?
start? Where do we start?
Well, I know that the team I expect to win is not the same. It's not the same team that you expect to win. So
Okay.
so why don't we make a case for each of our teams?
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm going to start with Barcelona. I expected them to win. I expect them to win La Liga this year, and so far, despite not playing the best competition, they have not conceded a goal in the La Liga. Would we expect this kind of defensive organization from Barcelona before the season started? No. So credit to Luis Enrique for getting these guys to come in. They've done a great job. So that being said, Luis Suarez is coming back. Oh, is that right? Luis Suarez, the same Luis Suarez we were talking about setting the Premier League on fire last season? Oh, wow, he makes his debut against Real Madrid and El Clasico with an already potent strike force of Lionel Messi and Neymar. Oh my gosh, I'm just I can't believe it, man. What are Real Madrid gonna do? This is gonna be like 8-0. No, but seriously, I just think that trio is so potent going forward that and obviously they have the midfield and they have the defense already in place. That trio, there's no way they don't succeed. Luis Suarez could play on the wing. He's a very versatile player. He's always a threat inside, outside the box. You always have to account for him. He just runs. He runs at you, makes blazing runs. He makes intelligent runs. He's a complete forward. He can interchange with Neymar. Messi being the center of everything up top. I just don't see this not working out. It's going to be fantastic. That trio is more lethal than Real Madrid's, and Real Madrid, mind you, are without Gareth Bale in this game, and they'll be starting Isco. If I think they will be. So they are on the road. They're going to Real Madrid. I think they will pull out a result 2-1.
I hear your case about Luis Suarez, and I think that's a very fair point that everyone's been talking about. But no matter how good of a player you are, no matter where you come from, you gotta remember one thing. This is his first game playing with them.
Hmm.
Now, I don't doubt the guy's talent, but there's you have to give respect to chemistry between them, right? It's the first game that he's playing in this squad at a competitive level. It's the first game he's going to be playing with Messi and Neymar, and the whole team. And I don't know how much stock I can put into it. I expect them to be successful, but you're making your first appearance against Real Madrid. I'm gonna throw in a little bit of an uncertainty regarding Luis Suarez's status. Now, on to Real Madrid. I expect them to win. 13 goals in the last 3 games. Ronaldo's been in crazy form. He's scored more goals than a bunch of top sides in Europe. They have their defense has looked better. It's been organized better. They've been tested by some good teams. And I just feel that the whole structure of the team, it's gelled over the last, 1.5 years. They look to me like the complete side, and they have a good bench. That's why I think they're going to win the the whole league too, just because the situation hasn't changed at Real Madrid over the last 1.5 years. They've had a couple of big signings that have left the club. Rodriguez came in and he's fitting into the team very nicely. They have a good young core, and they're going to build upon this core for the next few years. Now, as far as Barcelona goes, Xavi and Iniesta are probably going to go out soon. So, but we're going off topic here. Just for tomorrow's game, I do expect Real Madrid to win. Real Madrid have looked a lot more organized. They have faced better competition than Barcelona. They're more tested, and Ronaldo's just in crazy goal scoring form. Everything's going to come together. They're going to test the Barcelona defense. And if Barcelona defense can step it up, keep a clean sheet, do good, I'll be scared. I'll be scared for my prediction for Real Madrid not to win the league. Um, so yeah, that's how I see things.
Okay, yeah. I think this is going to be a fantastic game. If you allow me to get in one counterpoint,
Yeah.
I think losing Angel Di Maria is huge for Real Madrid, and they don't have a player like that who could transition uh, from defense to offense in a way that Di Maria does that. Tony Cruz is not that kind of player. Obviously, they have a lot of quality. They have Tony Cruz.
Yeah.
They have Modric. Yeah, I mean, their bench is amazing, but I mean, they also lost Xabi Alonso. These are two guys that were a big reason why they won a Champions League
Yeah.
last year.
I
And to lose those two guys, I don't know, man. I think because of that transition of bringing in two other guys like James Rodriguez. Did they really need James Rodriguez? I feel like that was more of a business decision. You're going to sell a lot of jerseys with him right after his really outstanding World Cup. I'm not sure if that was the best, footballing move. But anyways, all that being said, I think it's going to be a fantastic game, and I can't wait. And I'll see you at Buffalo Wild Wings with the two other people that will be there
uh-huh.
taking our orders. I don't even know if they have a breakfast menu. I don't think they do. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what we're gonna eat, man. I'm not gonna eat wings at 9 a.m. in the morning.
Maybe that's what we might have to do. You can get custom burgers over there. They're pretty good.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this was a soccer podcast. We'll probably see you in a couple weeks. We'll talk about the next Champions League match day, and we'll talk about how Chelsea destroyed United and Barcelona destroyed Real Madrid. We'll see you next time. Anhad, what do you say about what did you have
My
something to say about ESPN or something? I don't know.
Yeah, the thing is we're like better than ESPN. That's all.
Peace.
Peace.